Hello, and welcome to This Explainer. If you've been staring out your window feeling that familiar sense of panic as the intense July heat waves roll in, well, take a deep breath. You're really not alone. I actually remember losing my absolute favorite maple tree to the heat a few summers ago simply because I just couldn't keep up with the watering. So today, we're going to fix that together. By the end of This Explainer, you'll have a clearer, actionable plan that takes all the stress out of your summer gardening. So let's start with a scenario that probably looks uncomfortably familiar. You walk outside and you notice the edges of your tree leaves are getting all crispy and turning brown. It's July, it's absolutely scorching, so your immediate reflex is probably to grab the hose and give the base of the tree a quick, refreshing spray, right? It feels like you're helping. But here is the hard truth, and I say this with total empathy. If your tree leaves are turning brown right now, your current surface watering habits might actually be causing the damage, or at the very least, making it significantly worse. We really need to bust one of the biggest, most damaging myths in summer tree care, and that myth is that trees need a little bit of water every single day during a heat wave. It sounds totally logical, but daily surface watering only dampens the top inch or two of soil, and roots are incredibly smart, they grow towards the water. So if the water is always right at the surface, you're essentially creating a system of weak, shallow roots. And what happens to the surface of the soil in a July heat wave? It bakes in the sun. Those shallow roots literally cook. The reality and the goal we're actually aiming for here is the deep root method. We want to train those roots to drive down deep into the cooler, protected earth, which builds incredible strength and long-term drought tolerance. The drip method, step by step. Okay, let's dive into exactly how to achieve that deep root growth. Before we even turn on the water, we need to know exactly where to put it. And this brings us to a crucial insider secret in landscaping, the drip line. Most people naturally just drop the hose right next to the trunk of the tree, but a tree's trunk doesn't actually absorb water. The tiny, active feeder roots do. And those feeder roots, they're located way out at the drip line. Think of the tree's canopy like a giant umbrella. Where would the rain drip off the edges of that umbrella? That invisible circle on the ground all the way around the tree is your drip line, and that is exactly where the water needs to be applied. So, how do we deliver the water to that specific spot? Here is your simple step-by-step instruction. Step 1. Ditch the overhead sprinkler. Sprinklers just lose way too much water to evaporation in the July sun. Just grab a regular garden hose without a nozzle. Step 2. Turn the spigot on just a tiny bit so you have a really slow, steady trickle. It shouldn't be a rushing stream at all, just a gentle bubbler. And step 3, place the end of that gently trickling hose right on the drip line we just identified and just leave it there for 45 to 60 minutes. Now, waiting 45 to 60 minutes might feel like a really long time for just one tree, but there is a distinct scientific reason for it. When you use that slow trickle, the soil actually has time to absorb the moisture without it just running off down the street. Over the course of an hour, that slow, steady volume of water is pulled down by gravity, pushing deep into the soil profile. It completely bypasses that hot, baked surface and reaches down into the cool earth where the main structural roots and those tiny feeder roots actually live and thrive. This deep soak is exactly what saves them during a drought.
Moving on to the perfect schedule for trees.
So we have the how down perfectly. Let's shift our focus to the when. Because as you know, not all trees are created equal. If you have newly planted trees, meaning anything planted within the last year or two, they just don't have a wide root system established yet. In the intense July heat, you're going to need to execute this deep watering drip method 2 to 3 times a week for those babies. However, established trees, the ones that have been in the ground for years with a beautiful wide canopy, they only need this deep soak once every week, or honestly, even just once every 2 weeks. They're so much more self-sufficient, provided you actually water them deeply when you do. And now, for an expert life hack, the screwdriver test. If you're sitting there wondering how to know exactly when your established tree needs water, I want to share my absolute favorite trick. It's completely free, and it removes literally 100% of the guesswork from your watering schedule. The magic number for this test is 6. Just grab the longest standard flathead or Phillips head screwdriver you have in your toolbox. Go out to the drip line of your tree and firmly push the screwdriver straight down into the soil. Moist soil offers very little resistance, so if you can easily push that screwdriver 6 inches deep into the soil, stop right there. Your deep roots still have plenty of moisture. You absolutely do not need to water yet, even if the top surface looks totally dry and dusty. But conversely, what happens when the soil is truly dry? Well, dry soil becomes incredibly hard and compacted. If you push that exact same screwdriver down and it hits a solid hard stop at just 2 inches and you can't push it any further without serious effort, that's your definitive signal. Hitting resistance at 2 inches means the moisture level has dropped dangerously low in the soil profile. It is officially time to pull out the hose and start your deep soak process.
To wrap things up, let's look at your heatwave checklist.
Let's bring all of these expert secrets together into one simple place. Here is your ultimate heatwave checklist. If you want to take a quick screenshot to use this afternoon, this is definitely the one. Number 1, use a trickling hose. Absolutely no sprinklers, and place it directly at the drip line, not the trunk. Number 2, leave it right there for 45 to 60 minutes per zone to really push that water deep down to the roots. And number 3, always test the soil with a long screwdriver before watering again to ensure you aren't overwatering or underwatering. I promise you, following these simple steps will ensure your trees not only survive the drought, but actively build the root strength they need to thrive all summer long. So to conclude our masterclass today, I have a quick question for you to ponder. What specific type of tree are you trying to save right now? And what climate zone are you living in? Trees have such unique personalities, and local climates definitely change the rules of the game just a little bit. So feel free to drop those details below so we can share some specific advice and all learn from each other's yards. Also, if you're looking at your yard right now and realizing that your grass is also suffering, looking all brown and patchy despite your absolute best efforts, don't rush out and buy expensive fertilizer just yet. Keep an eye out for our next lawn-focused explainer, where we'll break down exactly how to fix a patchy lawn naturally. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay cool out there and happy deep watering.